rotting driftwood on the foreign shores, spilling out into the ocean floor, and the memories all you've left without a trace. Paralyzed with the thoughts receding, current sweeps you with the silent bleeding through the heart into the darkest place. Well, turn around, there's nothing to see here. Run away, no reason to be here. It's the ghost who never goes away. Turn around and leave this behind now. You see the ground as it bleeds in the sky now. You fight the sea, you're always gonna drown. All the secrets that you're holding, all the memories you hide, all the frail thoughts that echo in the corners of your mind, they won't even last a moment. They will soon be swept away when the ocean takes you in its arms and carries you away. You carry all your burdens on the cross around your neck. You take whatever's left that you could salvage from the wreck, and the hard past will follow you like a lost dog on the beach, nipping at your trail till you've drifted out of reach. Yeah, turn around, there's nothing to see here. Run away, no reason to be here. It's the ghost who never goes away. Turn around and leave this behind now. See the ground as it bleeds to the sky now. You fight the sea, you're always gonna drown. In the broken line horizon, in the castles made of sand, you tried to hold it in your hands, you tried to understand it. Ocean asks the questions, and it holds the answers too. It dissolves away the lies about the things you thought you knew.
Slight adjustment there. Scooch, scooch. Huh? There. Hello, my friends. 'Tis I, Dame Armiger Ranya. My heart and my sword are yours. And 'tis I, Adelath Korakai II, bastard son of a real bastard. Your hearts are mine. Yeah, I almost didn't bring him online tonight. I wasn't sure that I had the right level of energy to have my co-host in the room, but seeing you folks in the chat as soon as I arrived gave me a little bit of a boost, and I decided at the last moment to add the boy to the mix. that was that was why I was slightly in the wrong placement as far as my model. Oh. What the heck? Wait a minute. What did I just do? Ah? I'm gone. Where did I go? Eh? Did it? Oh, VTube Studio crashed. That's fun. Hang on. I'm on my way back. Eh? Well, I guess it's just my show now. Oh, look. We even get the loading screen and everything. Okay. Nope. Still not quite fixed. Now, Adelath is just on all the time. Actually, being on all the time is kind of my thing, isn't it? That's not what I meant. Okay, now I think we're up and running again. But yeah, average stream setup shenanigans, yeah. I mean, the last couple of streams have been mercifully pretty scuff-free. I think my audio maybe, as always, needs a little bit of tweaking, I think. I'm still not like... I'm never 100% happy with it, so there's probably things that I can do there, but... This is a little bit more scuffy than I've usually had. But I suppose that's all in the mood, because... Oh man, I nearly didn't get myself live tonight. I have just been kind of low and out of it today. I slept most of the day away, and even when coming out of that nap, was still not feeling 100%. But, oh geez, nope, I've still got VTube Studio widgets on screen, there we go. Yeah, back when I was streaming using Windows, in a Windows environment instead of on Linux, there were options that let you bring up those menus and things without having any of it bleed through to stream, but I have not gotten those options to work in the Linux environment yet. I'm just happy that I have VTube Studio working at all in Linux, which took a fair amount of effort. The app is not natively built for Linux, and the developers of it don't really think that they are going to have the capacity to do that anytime soon either. So there's some interesting little workarounds that you have to use to get the face tracking working and such. So I lose a little bit of options fidelity here and there. But thankfully, I'm here, I'm moving, I can wiggle and cry and, you know, all the things that I was able to do before, just with a little bit of extra scuff. Hello, Roinicorn. Hello to all of you in the chat. Rain, Moss, Roinicorn. Thank you so much for appearing on very short notice to support me. While running an entirely separate virtual environment on your machine thing, yeah. It's like, I don't know the technical ledger domain involved in Proton and Wine and all that. I know the recursive acronym Wine is not an emulator, so it's not, whatever that means, it's not actually emulating Windows, it's doing some other thing that is not emulation, whatever that means. But beyond that, yeah, I just know that it's very computationally expensive, and not everything works exactly the way you want it to, but it works well enough that I'm here and you can see me, and we are on the deck, not of the JFS Gundog, but the JFS O'Brien in our visual novel. It has been a little while since I've my old lady brain has lost a few bits of the detail of the story here, but we are investigating a derelict craft, the O'Brien, which we were supposed... Our mission was to rendezvous with them and conduct a patrol of this area of space. But shortly after we arrived at the rendezvous point and made contact with them, both of our ships went completely dark. We got all power, primary and backup, all communications, all systems went completely offline. Via some heroic efforts on the part of our protagonist, Security Officer Lieutenant Kali Ranya, we were able to get our ship, the Gundog, back up and running, and thus were able to come over here to see how the O'Brien is faring. And it seems they had things a lot worse than we did. According to their logs, they took aboard an unidentified object of some sort, which is the usual prologue for a horrific scenario in outer space. And yes, it appears to have gotten the crew killed. The people on the bridge here seem to have been electrocuted. Someone in the doctor in the sick bay seems to have died of some sort of violence, being struck or beaten to death. There may be at least one survivor in the hangar. We were able to kind of bang on the door and get a response back from the hangar, but we don't currently have safe access to the hangar. We're trying to find a way to get in there that can rescue the people who are there without, depriving them of oxygen and killing them in the process of trying to help them. Yeah, you might immediately went to Alien. It's like running VR chat through Minecraft while running Minecraft through a separate instance of VR chat. Oh dear. So that's what we're picking up. Where our rival and crewmate, Hansen, is busy digging around underneath the consoles on the bridge, trying to retrieve the flight recorder or the data recorder for the O'Brien to get information out of it. So he's busy, we're still trying to look for survivors. Big robot uprising. Well, if it's robots, it's like space robots. It's robots that were floating out in space and they picked them up onto board. Yeah. There was some kind of big EMP kind of thing that knocked all these systems out. Also, we keep hearing transmissions from the past? There's bits of garbled radio signal that were from earlier scenes, being repeated. So we don't know if that's a recording that's being replayed or some sort of time travel shenanigans. Everything's weird. Board computer tried to end the crew and then itself. Maybe. Yeah, maybe whatever they took on board had a virus. Okay, so I was poking around a little bit in the function screen here that I haven't really done anything with. Our map says it's out of order. Access to map function disabled. Please contact your system administrator. We cannot raise our system administrator. The Gundog is currently out of contact. There's a task list, a little quest checklist. Find survivors, find a keycard, find the captain. We've all done. We are trying to obtain access codes and find the first officer. And then rescue the crew member in the hangar. There's also a codex with it's just a vertically scrolling list of vocabulary entries in apparently alphabetical order, which I'm sure if you just wanted a Kali reading the phone book kind of stream, I could just read all of this, but I would like to make some progress in the story tonight, so we're not going to do that right now. Looking at the captain, You circle the captain's chair, looking for anything that could tell you what had gone on when you lost contact. Instead, all you see is the stiff body of the ship's captain, slumped to the side and his hands tightly gripping the armrests. As you get closer to him, you see signs that whatever had happened to Lieutenant Bashir, yes, these various characters are named in homage to various Star Trek things, had also happened to him. Burns cover where his skin rests on the metal of the chair, and the back of his uniform shows scorch marks. Rest in peace, Captain Gerard. And we search him for a keycard. Despite already having Dr. DeBeer's keycard, you still needed a keycard belonging to someone on the bridge crew if you were to have any chance at accessing the central computer to reactivate the O'Brien. There'd be no better card to accomplish this than the captain's. As you walk around to the front of the captain's chair, you shudder. The shock that must have killed him left his hands clasping the armrests like talons. His face is gaunt and his eyes open wide, together with how the corners of his mouth drawn back as far as they would go into a horrendous grin. The whole expression was unnerving, as if he'd been killed by some fatal but hilarious joke. You know what you need to do, and although it's a practical necessity, something about it feels wrong. Your brain went British for a second. Old chap. Good old Gerard. Sorry about this, Captain Gerard. You pat the captain down, but find no indication that he's carrying his keycard in his pockets. As you stand back for a moment, trying to think if there's anywhere he may have left it, your eyes are drawn to the hand tightly clenching the armrest, which also doubles as a control panel. You remember having seen Captain Bartermuse insert her keycard into the equivalent panel on the Gundog on occasion to unlock certain functions. A grim wave of realization hits you as you think that if the card wasn't on the captain, the control panel is the most likely place it would be. The only issue with that was Captain Gerard's death grip was covering the slot for the keycard. With a knot in your stomach, you lay your hand on the captain's. A shiver runs down your spine. You're just starting to squeeze your fingers underneath his palm and start pulling, when as you look down, you notice the gleam of starlight reflecting off a piece of plastic by the captain's foot. With a huge sigh of relief, you kneel down and take the card from the floor. Luckily for you, the captain must have dropped it just before he was shocked. As you pass the card from one hand to another, inspecting the front and the back, you see that it appears to have all but melted. The plastic coating is mostly stripped away, and what remains is bubbled up, with the remnants of the magnetic strip flaking off. You can tell from its condition that it's not getting you anywhere. You sigh as you lay the remains of the card by the captain's hand. If I can't find a card with access to the central computer, there's no hope for the O'Brien. RIP keycard. Well, I'm sure wherever the captain's soul is now, he appreciates the gesture of affection with you touching his cold dead hand there in the dark of the bridge. Yeah, we'll go with that. On the left side of the bridge, you see the station used for ship management and communications. You know that this is where Lieutenant Bashir would have been when Cassie spoke to him moments before the blackout. Like the rest of the bridge, you could see that every system was offline, nothing more than rows of dead screens and useless plastic and metal. Mindful of not disturbing the lieutenant's body, you examine the area to see if you can tell what would have caused his current condition. With no signs of damage, you rule out an explosion or catastrophic malfunction, leaving you to assume that he must have somehow received a massive electrical shock. What could have possibly caused something like that? Okay, so blah blah blah, ship's central computer. For that, you'd need either the captain's card or a card from one of the two members of operations. The The captain's card had been fried beyond usability by whatever happened to him, but maybe Lieutenant Bashir's card had been more lucky. You gingerly move towards the lieutenant, and doing your best to be as gentle as possible, you pat down his left-hand trouser pocket. Feeling nothing through the thick gloves of your spacesuit, you head to the other side of his chair before repeating the same action on his right pocket. This time, you feel something. With a sense of unease, you attempt to remove the contents of his pocket whilst trying not to disturb the body too much. Eventually, but with some difficulty caused by the clumsiness of your spacesuit and your desire not to disturb Bashir's body any more than you need to, you manage to pull out what feels like it could be his keycard. You turn the card over a few times, and it's definitely the lieutenant's keycard, but it looks like it's been half melted. Not only is it warped out of shape, but the plastic coating is blistered, with the magnetic strip on the back almost entirely peeled off. You can tell from its condition that it's totally useless. You wouldn't even be able to fit it into any card reader or terminal, even if the surface hadn't been ruined. Great, looks like this won't get me anywhere. Just like the captain's. Hopefully I can find the second in command, otherwise there'll be nothing we can do for the O'Brien. Oh boy. Hansen seems to be hard at work onto the station. Okay. So, now what? Find the first officer. Where haven't we searched yet? At your sick bay. So this is the hangar. I guess we haven't checked out fire control? But I seem to recall that we couldn't get in there. Let's see. Yeah, no response in fire control. Okay, so this nameplate reads Kim Enry. They must be the Brian's second in command. Wanna get in there? You go through the motion of checking for signs of life, but you don't hear anything back. But I'm supposed to be looking for keycards. What if I can get a keycard out of one of these rooms? I guess we haven't tried the armory? Just like you had on the other closed doors, you go through the process of making as much noise as possible at the door and waiting for a response. Yeah, game is telling you no keycard here. However, there's no answer to your attempted communication. You head back, justifying the lack of response by thinking that no one should be in there anyway. There's no... Look like there's much of anything we can do here either. On the right-hand side of the bridge, you see the station used to control the ship. Unlike Lieutenant Bashir's station, it didn't look like anyone was there when whatever had gone on here happened. Instead, you can see Hansen underneath it. You hear the occasional mutter and grumble over your radio as he struggles to remove the parts needed to allow him access to the O'Brien's black box. Better just leave him to it. As you look over the bridge for any clue that may help you solve what happened on board the O'Brien, your gaze is caught by the view of space through the main window. You knew that one of those lights was the gun dog, the sole reassuring thought that you'd had the entire time you'd been here. But what else was out there? What happened didn't look like any attack that you'd ever seen. But what could possibly have happened on the O'Brien to cause all this? Looking out into space won't help me figure this out. A shotgun. Something we can do with that? I think we already did this thing we could here. These don't look very comfortable at the best of times. My spacesuit definitely would not help things either. I am kind of at a loss. I don't understand. Unless I just need... Wait a minute. What if I just need to... just go into the hangar? So the game was kind of warning me, you know, if I go to the hangar and the person inside doesn't have oxygen, they're just going to die. But what if they do have oxygen? What if they've got a spacesuit? Or something? Maybe that's our only hope? Move to the hangar. Let's try it. With Dr. De Beer's keycard, I'll be able to access the hangar. Although, there's a chance that whoever is in there may not be in a spacesuit yet. If I open these doors now, I risk pulling them out in the vacuum. There may be something I've missed that could let me get the access codes more safely. What could we possibly be missing? Is there an area I can go with my current keycard that I've missed? I'll try everything. Okay. So we're currently... Well, let me go to the mess hall. Hangar's there. Well, let me go to fire control. Okay, maybe there's something more in the captain's quarters that we've overlooked. Okay. Captain's keys. This is all for nothing. I guess I could take this back to the gun dog with me, though I don't know how long trees last in space. I should probably leave it alone until I know for certain. So you got, yeah, so this is the thing that tells us about the unknown object. See anything? Oh boy, I'm starting to feel kind of stumped. I wonder if we just need to suck up taking the option that the game is like warning us against. If you're not mistaken, the little tree would have a few seconds to live in the vacuum of space. Just a few seconds, really. What would cause a tree to be destroyed in space? It's just like it would... Like, oh, maybe like the damage to its like cells? Like maybe from... I don't know. Like a tree like needs oxygen, of course, or needs like carbon dioxide and such, but it wouldn't like asphyxiate instantly the way that a human would, right? Oh, okay. I can access most of the ship. If I'm lucky, I can find the second in command somewhere. It's really trying to tell me I can use the doctor's keycard somehow, but doesn't get stuff it needs. Heat regulation, evaporation of water. I like the idea of risking a life. Neither do I. I just am at a loss for what the game expects of me at this point. Like, there's just not that many options given to us. The game has a relatively limited possibility space of like verbs, of things we can actually do. Like even, I keep trying to go into the item menu and like do this kind of point and click style, like using items on things, but okay, what if, alright. What if I talk to Hanson? Probably better to leave him be. Lack of pressure. Okay, so we kind of banged on the elevators. There's nobody in there either. Huh. Now reading up the effects of microgravity on plants. This is a little frustrating. I mean, we've got to save. We've not done anything significant other than find a couple of fried key cards in this run tonight. Apparently a seed will grow in microgravity. Well, that's kind of the basis of a lot of science fiction. It's like, you could still grow plants in space. I guess. So I feel like I have two options here. I can just go ahead with busting into the hangar despite the game really trying to discourage me from doing that. Or I can, I don't know, go look up a spoiler. Go get a hint from a guide. The experiments showed that in a microgravity environment, the growth direction is unregulated, and some roots even extend in the same direction as the arrow stems. Yeah, roots going up. Oops. Alright, well, let's just see what happens. I need to be mindful about when I use this. There's no point in opening all the doors and running the PSD's battery down before I found anyone. You unlatch the front of the portable subterminal's casing and activate the device, watching pensively as it runs through its startup sequence. Once complete, you hurriedly run through all the necessary options as quickly as you can, doing your best to ensure that you use the least amount of battery power necessary. One last thing. You quickly unfasten the pouch you'd placed the doctor's keycard in, withdraw it, and slot it into the device. With the same infuriating slowness as all the others, the doors to the hangar begin to move. You waste no time in standing up and working your way through the tight gap before the doors are even a quarter of the way open. Noticing the absence of any signs of depressurization, you continue to force your way through the doors. As soon as you're through, you vault your way down the stairwell, skipping increasingly more steps at a time as the gravity disappears, until you're eventually floating past entire sets of stairs altogether. Setting your radio to broadcast with one hand and grabbing the guardrail in front of you with the other, you call out into the dark void of the hangar. Hello, is anyone in here? Hello, this is Lieutenant Ranya from the JFS Gundog. We've come to help. Hello. You peer into the darkness, straining to see any signs of life. You knew that you'd heard activity in here from the other side of the doors, so where were they? Huh? Oh, maybe y'all were right about the robots. Whoa. The hell is this thing? You stand frozen in place, unable to move your legs, unable to speak, as the huge machine that has just pulled itself out of the darkness looms over you. It's unlike anything you've ever seen before. No ship, shuttle, armored frame, or worker pod that you know of looks the slightest bit like this. As you will yourself to do something, anything, the thing in front of you remains totally motionless, until suddenly, something deep inside you tells you that you've only got moments to react to whatever is going on. But try to communicate. Take Rhinoquin's attack here. You slowly raise both of your hands, palms spread, and take a step towards the thing. If this was the craft that the O'Brien's pilots had recovered, then there might be a member of the crew who'd taken shelter in there, you reason. I'm Lieutenant Ranya from the JFS Gundog. We've come to help you reactivate the O'Brien. You wait for a response, but neither hear nor see anything that indicates whoever is on board has acknowledged you. Whoever's in that thing? I'm Lieutenant Ranya from the JFS Gundog. We've come to... You pause, having just noticed the sparks of electricity appearing around the most forward protrusion on the machine. Within a few seconds, you see it illuminated from the inside by an intense light. What? Oh, did we just get a game over? No. Acting entirely on instinct, you launch yourself sideways, only just in time to avoid a searing beam of light so bright you involuntarily squeeze your eyes shut and look away. As your vision returns, you look at where the beam had been focused and see warped and molten metal surrounding a deep gash that runs along the part of the catwalk where you'd been stood, and then up the wall near the entrance. Through the vertical slice taken out of the wall, you can see the beam had penetrated all the way to the rear of the stairwell, slicing through the first set of steps in the progress? Okay. More of this game's occasional strange word choice. Looking back to the machine that had just torn through the interior of the O'Brien with ease, you see the same electrical sparks and glowing light at the front of the craft. The same survival instinct which made you dive out of the way of the last bolt kicks in, and you push off the catwalk a split second before another pulse of light lances from the machine, liquefying the steel where you'd stood moments before. See, now, that turn of phrase is fine. The steel where you'd stood moments before, not where you'd been stood. Grabbing the edge of the entrance into the stairwell, you redirect yourself and push off the wall, sending yourself up past the half-melted set of steps and towards the doors into the thoroughfare. As you stumble into the corridor, you grab your radio. Hanson, get to the Juno right now! We need to leave! You yell as you bolt for the central hub. Hanson, do you hear me? We need to get off this ship immediately! Time to draw the sword and accept the challenge of the mechanical beast, yeah. Hanson! You scream one last time before sprinting down the remainder of the four-side thoroughfare. As you pass the boundary into the central hub, the corridor behind you is illuminated with another intense flash of light. You don't turn around, instead continuing at speed towards the airlock where the Juno had been left. Hanson, I'm serious! We need to leave now before the ship's torn to pieces. Get off the bridge and get down here! With no response from Hanson, your mind races. You're doing your best to formulate a plan when you look back at the four-side thoroughfare and see it scored with huge cuts that run from floor to ceiling, the liquefied metal of the ship's structure framing their paths. Ah, damn it! The same instinct that saved you in the hangar kicks in, and you turn towards the airlock, racing towards the open entrance and the stars you can see in the distance. As you head towards the open cockpit of the armored frame, you try and remember the startup sequence that will let you pilot it out of here. You begin to climb up the Juno's chest, and as you reach the top, look inside to see the pilot's seat empty. Ah! God damn it, Kreese, where are you? Looking back towards the entrance of the airlock and seeing no one in the distance, you know you have a choice to make. Get out of here. We've been in the habit this entire game of leaving the Hanson to be in trouble, so you can't ignore the impulse driving you to just get out of there. An instinct that is soon proven to be correct as a blast of energy tears through the airlock. If Hanson wasn't aware of what was going on with your radio not working, you had no way to contact him. He was on his own. Plus, with the blasts getting closer to the armored frame, if you didn't leave now, you might not have the chance in a few seconds. What a game mechanic, though. 5-second countdown on making a choice in your interface. I couldn't exactly wait for chat's input on that one, sorry. Before you buckle yourself in, you begin flicking the switches and pressing the buttons to activate the armored frame. A wave of nausea hits you, and you pause mid-sequence as the memory of the last time you started up an armored frame returns. You breathe in deeply, hold it, and exhale. No time for that. Not now.
Hey, perhaps this is all a good thing. You're at last rid of Hanson for good.
Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite us somehow. This seems a bit more than the elevator situation. Yeah, that time was just petty. This time we're killing him. We're leaving him to die. Doing your best to ignore the queasy feeling in your stomach, you carry on with the process of getting the Juno ready for takeoff. Sorry about this, Hanson.
Sorry about what, man?
As Hanson's voice crackles over your radio, you look up at the cockpit's entrance just in time to move out the way as the ensign drops down into the pilot's seat.
Huh. Nice of you to get the Juno up and running, Lieutenant. You were going to wait for me, aren't you?
You buckle yourself into the passenger seat as Hanson instantly picks up where you left off and continues the startup process. Get us out of here, Ensign. Now, Ensign.
Yeah, whatever you say, man.
In just a few seconds, Hanson pulls the lever that seals the Juno's cockpit and works his way through the entire startup sequence. Even before the main monitor is active, he pulls back on the flight sticks and you feel the rumble of the Juno's engines moving the armored frame away from the ship as the main view screen switches on, showing the O'Brien shrinking into the distance.
What did you do? One minute I'm pulling out the black box, the next I can see a light show going on outside and some kind of laser beam nearly cuts me in half.
I didn't do anything. There was something in the hangar and then it went off. It was tearing this whole ship apart from the inside.
So you tripped an AF's weapon system or something? Can't let you anywhere near these things without you causing problems.
You're about to continue your protests at Hanson when you see a column of light penetrate the surface of the O'Brien.
What the fuck?
That's it! It's got to be some sort of prototype AF or something. I've never seen a weapon like it.
Tore through the O'Brien's hull like paper. What the hell kind of weapon is that?
No idea, but we need to... take it out! We need to stop it, whatever it is, before it can do this to the gun dog.
Hey, look at our lieutenant. Who knew you had the stones?
Ah, sure, take it aboard the gun dog. Things would go just as well for us as they did for the O'Brien, huh?
Guess it's easier to make the order than follow through, though, so don't think you're hot stuff just yet.
Grease, would you just... Before you can finish, Hansen slams the controls forward, pushing you back into your seat and sending the Juno directly towards the enemy at top speed. As you struggle with the frame's acceleration, you look across to Hansen, who's leaning forward, a deep scowl on his face, with his chest visibly rising and falling. Looking back at the main monitor, you see the O'Brien growing at an alarming rate, as a targeting reticle on the screen shifts back and forth over the approximate location of the target. As suddenly as Hansen had started towards the unknown machine atop the O'Brien, he brings both feet down hard on the pedals attached to the bottom of the pilot's seat, causing the Juno to suddenly jet upwards. This maneuver is quickly followed by both flight sticks being yanked backwards, bringing the armored frame to a halt just above the target. As the reticle coalesces over the enemy machine, Hansen pulls the trigger and fires off a slew of bullets, which fly through the space that had been, until moments before, occupied by the mysterious enemy. You see small explosions as the rounds rip through the innards of the O'Brien.
What? Where did it...
With a deft manipulation of the controls, Hansen simultaneously rotates the armored frame and sends it flying away from the O'Brien at speed, as he scours the monitors for any signs of the target.
Things fast, too.
As quickly as it had disappeared, the unidentified craft reappears immediately in front of you, a telltale glow emanating from the forwardmost protrusion on its main body. In the second that he had to do so, Hansen detached the Juno's shield and hurled it at the machine, disrupting its beam and buying him the precious moments needed to retreat at full speed. Precious moments? the little, excessively Christian porcelain dolls? Not sure that's fast, just might be actually teleporting, right? Yeah.
God damn! What the hell is this thing?
Once again, Hansen surveys the surrounding space, trying to find the elusive and deadly enemy. There! It's heading right towards the gun dog! You point towards a small pulse of light amongst the stars showing on the screen. His scowl deepening, Hansen once more pushes the controls in the Juno to their limit, moving to pursue the attacker at top speed. As the enemy shrinks into the distance on the Juno's monitor, Hansen doesn't let up on the speed, maintaining the high level of acceleration. Yeah, if we can get hold of it, I'm sure that'd be great. The tremors you can feel in the cockpit grow more intense the faster the armored frame moves. Grabbing onto the straps holding you in place with both hands, you pass your eyes over the readouts in the cockpit's various dials and sub-monitors. Almost all of them are flashing warnings or alerts, with the needles of the majority of the gauges deep in the red. Kreese, if you keep this up, the Juno's going to fall apart. Slow it down! Hansen smirks at your order, scoffing as he somehow finds more acceleration that increases the vibrations to the point that you feel like they'll shake you to pieces any moment now.
This is my Juno, Lieutenant. Don't tell me how to treat her. She's not as delicate as she looks. And we're gonna need all she's got to get back to the gun dog before that thing.
Kreese, if we get back and we're dead...
Yeah, you can write me up to the captain when that happens.
You groan and close your eyes, trying to ignore the beeping that started and the high-pitched whine you hear coming from the back of the cockpit. You're aware of every second that passes as the two of you race back to the gun dog, the tension worsened by the near-constant screaming of the warning systems. With Hansen in control, all you can do is hope that you get back in time before the gun dog can be cut to pieces by the weapon you'd seen make short work of the O'Brien. You've lost track of how long you've been pursuing the enemy when suddenly some garbled static bursts from the speakers and a shrill and panicked voice screeches at you. I repeat, this is Lieutenant Lord of the JFS Gundog. We're under attack by an unknown enemy unit. Any JFS ships in range, please respond. This is Lieutenant...
Lord, this is Gundog 1 approaching the gun dog at...
Kreese, where have you been? Get back to the ship right now! We're under fire from something! Hansen rolls his eyes as he's cut off by Vanessa's demand.
Roger that, ma'am. Gundog 1 returning.
No! Shaking his head rather than following up with an answer, Hansen quickly flicks a few switches and you see the readouts on some monitors switch to display information about the armored frame's weapon systems. As he does this, you turn your attention to the main monitor. In the distance, you can see small lights flickering in and out. Surrounding a point in space, the on-screen readouts inform you is the Gundog. With the Juno approaching the ship at speed, you can see that the lights are actually rounds being rapidly fired from the Gundog's point defense system, a collection of rotary cannons mounted on turrets along the ship's exterior. You can tell from their short bursts and the erratic shifts in the direction they're firing that the machine you ran into on the O'Brien is moving both quickly and unpredictably, with the automated cannons unable to keep up.
Lord, this is Gundog 1. We're back at...
Christ, what the hell is this thing?
How would I know?
Ah, useless! You hear Hansen mutter something under his breath, too quietly for the communication system to pick up. Just destroy it! We've already taken some heavy hits to the porthole!
Yeah, I get it. Just tell Deez to watch that anti-air.
As the Juno closes in on the Gundog, you watch the trajectory of the shots being fired from the point defense system, knowing that they indicate where the enemy machine was rather than where it is. Based on the speed at which it's moving, you know that if you're going to have a chance at taking this thing down, you need to figure out a way to get ahead of it. You're about to make this observation to Hansen, but you see a deep focus on his face, his eyes tracing the path the enemy moves along as it weaves around the barrage coming from the ship. With a sudden flurry of motion on the controls, Hansen adjusts the armored frame's trajectory, sending it soaring uncomfortably close to the Gundog's bridge, just in time to intercept the strange craft as it rises up from the far side of the ship.
Reusing the same evasive maneuvers. Amateur.
Hansen yells. Slamming down on the pedals, Hansen positions the Juno over the top of the enemy, and you hear a heavy click as he pulls the trigger on the right flight stick.
Too easy.
As the rounds from the machine gun slam into the target, Hansen presses down on a button on the left flight stick, sending a volley of missiles roaring away from the Juno's shoulder pod and directly into the enemy, engulfing it in an explosion.
Doesn't matter how powerful the machine is if the pilot's no good. Sorry, I almost said that backwards. Doesn't matter how powerful the pilot is if the machine's no good.
What's the... Oh god, the phrase from Gundam Witch from Mercury, the ritual of the duel. Victory is determined not by armored frame performance alone, nor by the skills of the pilot alone. What is it? Oh god, it's like the result is the only truth or something. Oh, god, I'm gonna need to look it up now. Let's see. It's Witch from Mercury. Here it is. It's not mobile suit performance alone that determines victory, nor is it the skill of the pilot. The result itself is the only truth. Fix release! There we go. Oops. Get the wrong. Sorry, there we go. Perhaps, surprising no one, it's not dead.
What?
As the smoke clears, staring back at you is the machine that you'd just seen hit by a swarm of missiles, each one individually powerful enough to destroy another armored frame. Instead of being totally destroyed, the craft looks completely fine. You don't even see a hint of a scorch mark on its armor.
What is this thing made of?
Hansen snarls, pulling the trigger on the right flight stick again, this time emptying the entire magazine into the target. As if totally indifferent to Hansen's assault, the craft turns to face you, and you see an increasingly bright light begin to build in front of it, with sparks and crackles of electricity running along its nearby surfaces. I find the machine kind of cute in a weird way. I kind of want to pet it. Yeah, it's a sort of... Well, it's not really a very Pokemon design. Maybe... It does have the sort of face-looking thing. There's a bit of pareidolia that going on with whatever that orb is at the center. It looks kind of like... Yeah, that sort of ceramic doll face of it gives... At least that part of it, the impression of almost like a Persona monster. A sleeping table or something. Move!
Don't tell me how to pilot.
The ensign yells back at you as he navigates the Juno away from the beam that tears through the space you've just occupied. Only seconds after what felt like a moment of triumph, the tables have been so thoroughly turned you find yourself being slammed from side to side as Hansen executes a rapid series of maneuvers in an attempt to escape the enemy's pursuit. Huge beams of energy blast through the space around you every few seconds as the Juno dives, climbs, rolls, and banks. As he weaves through the hail of bullets coming from the Gundog's own defensive systems and the attacks from the enemy machine, Hansen's breathing grows faster and faster. Hansen, we can't outrun it. We're gonna need to figure something out. His eyes flicking rapidly back and forth from monitor to gauge, and his hands twitching quickly, sending the Juno darting from place to place. Hansen doesn't seem to notice you at all. Hansen! Hansen!
What?
This isn't working. We need to do something.
Don't tell me how to pilot.
Stow it. You can't keep this up forever. We need to figure something else out. As you yell at Hansen, you get thrown into the side of the cockpit by a high-speed turn that he pulls off, just as a huge beam passes overhead, illuminating the cockpit as its brightness fills the monitors.
Come on then, man. What do you have in mind?
We should... Dalton's creation? Yes! Yeah, that thing! You rack your brain trying to come up with some way to stop this impervious enemy. You just watched it take a direct hit from frame-busting missiles and come away without a scratch. If that didn't harm it, then nothing else the Juno wielded would be able to stop it. Yeah, but I wonder if the EMP was caused by this thing. I don't know. Your thoughts race as you try to come up with a solution. How do you destroy the invulnerable? That's it!
What?
If the missiles won't take that thing down, nothing else we've got is going to be able to destroy it.
Great. So what, Lieutenant? You think we should just surrender now? Let it destroy us?
That's not what I mean. If we can't destroy it, then we need to change tactics. We need to try and disable it. Hansen glances across to you with a sneer, clearly about to criticize your idea. But before he can respond, his attention is taken by another blast from the enemy's energy weapon, which he evades at the very last moment. Dalton's been working on a compound to seal hull breaches, but he's been turning it into ammunition for the Juno's machine gun, too. If it works, we can trap this thing. That stuff's made to set hard enough to act as a new hull. There's no way it could escape. Hansen scoffs at you despite being in the middle of carrying out a maneuver involving suddenly braking, dropping downward through space, and letting the enemy machine fly overhead so that he can fire another volley of machine gun rounds at its underside.
If it works, Lieutenant. What if it doesn't? Are you going to trust that little dork with our lives?
Have you got a better idea, Ensign? That's what I thought. As the Juno continues to shake from the strain its engines are under, and the sudden spins and turns Hansen is making it perform, you manage to lean towards the communication system and press down on a button that allows you to broadcast. Gundog, this is Gundog 1. Patch me through to Cadet Grange.
Don't touch my controls.
Shut up, Hansen. I repeat, Gundog, this is Gundog 1. Patch me through to Cadet... What do you want, Ranya? We're just about to send Ranya out, but the launch pads are damaged, so they're coming out the main hangar door. Deal with that thing for a few more minutes. Nothing we got on the Junos are going to stop it, Lord. Just put me through to Dalton. He's busy getting Haru's AF out there. I'm in charge of this operation, Ranya, so don't go distracting my... Lord, shut up! Put me through to Dalton right now! Lieutenant! We're, doing our best to get Haru out there. We just need a... Dalton, forget about Haru. Did you manage to make any more of your sealant ammunition? Yeah, I managed to make enough for 2 whole magazines, but... Send it out, now! But, Lieutenant, I'm not tested. Now, Dalton. Yes, ma'am. The cockpit shudders as the armored frame breaks suddenly, following a tight corner that takes it around the rear of the Gundog and out of sight of the attacker. Although you're slammed backwards, Hansen remains focused and unleashes a barrage of machine gun fire just as the enemy soars past you. As you recover, you glare at Hansen. Was that necessary?
Never waste ammo, Ranya.
Before the other craft can respond, Hansen quickly maneuvers away, and you see the empty magazine eject from the Juno's machine gun.
Grange. Send the ammo out on a supply launch. Heading 0 Mark 30, full thrust.
Yes, sir. 0 Mark 30. Launch in 4 minutes.
Get it done in 2, kid.
Yes, sir. Don't have time. With the enemy back in pursuit, Hansen brings the Juno up to full thrust as he navigates the armored frame above the Gundog into a location you know has the most point defense coverage. The pressure from the sudden acceleration pins you against your seat, but you manage to turn to look at Hansen, the mocking he'd just given Dalton at the forefront of your mind despite everything. You watch as Hansen's eyes flick rapidly to the different screens and readouts within the cockpit, his hands moving almost too fast to perceive as he feathers the flight sticks to simultaneously evade from the fire from the Gundog and the attacking craft. Unkillable does not equal unbeatable, indeed. You turn back to focus on the main monitor and see the enemy machine heading straight towards you, a charge that Hansen evades at the feint at the last possible moment. You sigh, thinking that it probably wouldn't be a good time to distract the pilot. As the attacking craft speeds away into the distance before stopping suddenly and turning on its axis to head back towards the Gundog, Hansen turns the Juno and speeds towards the front of the ship, moving to the location he'd instructed Dalton to send the ammunition. With the main monitor now focused on the open main hangar, you can see Dalton, just as ordered, sending a supply launch rocketing towards you. The launch, little more than a large sled with a series of thrusters attached, speeds through the void towards you, and in a smooth motion, Hansen moves to meet it. He deftly manipulates the armored frame's hands to grab the machine gun magazine tethered to it without needing to stop. Pulling back just in time to evade another blast from the enemy cannon, Hansen slams the flight sticks forward, sending the armored frame tearing through space and towards the opponent.
This better work, Ranya.
Before the craft can evade, Hansen brings the machine gun to bear on it and holds down the trigger, the rounds all meeting their mark. As the shots land, the enemy machine is engulfed in a sudden expanding mass that billows outwards from the point of impact and spreads all over its surface. Within seconds, the attacker is encased in a thick coating of Dalton's compound, which sets as suddenly as it had expanded, leaving the craft's long appendages visibly struggling against the material's restraining properties.
Hey, that stuff's not bad. Kid's done good work. But we're not done yet. Hold on, Lieutenant.
Despite being almost entirely encompassed in the sealant, your foe is still heading right at you.
Where the hell do you think you're going?
Hansen yells, sending the Juno straight towards the enemy.
You're not going anywhere.
With an impact that reverberates violently through the cockpit, the armored frame slams into the oncoming craft.
Go to hell!
You watch as, with a rapid sequence of button presses on the right flight stick, Hansen commands the Juno to let go of its machine gun and draw its combat knife. The whole armored frame shakes with each impact as Hansen drives the knife over and over into one of the small portions of exposed armor showing amongst the massive sealant. Your world becomes a cacophony of noise as the clash of the knife on the armored surface of the enemy machine, the screams of the Juno's engines as they struggle to counteract the other craft's thrust, and the various alarms and warnings all fill the cockpit.
Go down, you. Hell.
Suddenly you're forced back into your seat by a rush of acceleration. Hansen, what's going on? You just about manage to turn your head against the force of the thrust to see Hansen shunting the flight sticks back and forth and stomping on the pedals.
Its engines must have cut out, but the controls have gone on ours. I can't stop them.
As Hansen continues to struggle with the controls, Vanessa screeches at you over the radio, sounding more panicked than ever. Kreese! You're headed straight for the hangar! Change course! Kreese!
I'm trying.
Kreese, you're going to... Okay. April 23rd, Planetary Calendar 214. Despite Ensign Kreese gaining an advantage against the unknown enemy craft that had attacked the JFS Gundog, a mechanical failure in the engines of his Juno 3 resulted in both the unidentified machine and the armored frame crashing into the ship's hangar. Lieutenant Ranya and Ensign Kreese were both quickly extracted from the armored frame and sent to the ship's sickbay. Upon being cleared for duty, Lieutenant Ranya is ordered to the hangar to help secure the enemy craft. Outer Jovian space, the hangar of the Jovian patrol ship JFS Gundog. Alright, I just got word from the wifey that she's on her way home from work, and we just cleared a climactic confrontation. So I think I am going to, accidentally click things so that I miss reading text. But I'm going to draw down stream here. I'm glad that I slapped myself into going live tonight. I do feel a little better about the world, having hung out with you all for a while and made some progress in the game. So I'm going to save our progress and wish you all a good night. Live with honor, and your heart is unassailable.
Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Let me go, there's no doubt. Gotta get out of this small town. You took my heart from me, now you're everywhere I see. Set me free, let me fly, let me find new kinds of highs. We're just wasting here, waiting for another year. We both know the score, we've been here once before. So many words unspoken, you took my heart, it's already broken. You don't have to wait, I can take the pain. I will surrender, let me go on a new adventure. watch me build another life, find another space, explore the world and find my place. Hope you find some peace of mind. Hope the night was worth your time. Threw my heart away, we won't see another day. We both know the score, we've been here once before. So many words unspoken, you took my heart, it's already broken. You don't have to wait, I can take the pain. I will surrender, let me go. It's a new adventure. On a new adventure. You'll find me dancing on my own. Nowhere to be, nowhere to go. In the rhythm, I don't think of you. Don't call me up when you're feeling blue. You'll find me dancing on my own. Nowhere to be, nowhere to go. In the rhythm, I don't think of you. Let me go. It's a new adventure. On the new adventure.